Well, there are a lot of good-looking people here.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of temptation.
There's a lot of temptation.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Porsche.
And welcome to our podcast, The Queendustry, which is all about health, lifestyle, wellness, how to navigate the entertainment industry, being an entrepreneur, and how to be a boss-ass bitch.
Ow.
Ow. Today, we got a real juicy topic we're going to be talking about.
Juicy.
Yeah, juicy. You want to introduce it, Porsche?
Open your mouth. Make it stronger. No. But today we're going to be talking about dating, especially in LA. And we have a few topics under that category. And I think we should just go ahead and get into it. And I'm not sure I want to give away all of the topics.
Yeah, we'll just get into it. Well, you mentioned dating in LA. What's different about dating in LA, or what's unique to dating in LA than everywhere else? Or what stands out, I guess? I'm trying to think.
What stands out? Well, there are a lot of good-looking people here.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of temptation.
There's a lot of temptation.
I never used to think I was someone who was easily tempted, but I'm a single woman. It's not technically tempting. I could do what I want, but there's a lot of good-looking people. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good-looking people. There are a lot of women here.
Yeah.
There's more women here than men.
Oh, is that true? Oh, I didn't know that.
If you ever attended an industry event, I guarantee you it's going to be like 85% women there.
Wow.
If you observe, that's what I've observed.
So I think it's lopsided, right? Because then when it comes to engineering or like DJing, there's like way more men. But
really, you mean? Do you mean in the industry?
In the industry, yeah. So like if I'm at like in the studio, I find like working at a studio, I'm like surrounded by men. There's like very few women.
Well, that's a fact because that's where they are. I guess we just need to go where the men are.
Yeah. But I don't know if those are the men we want to, I don't know. Not hating. Well,
that's true.
I mean, that's not true. There's my ex I met at the studio.
my ex, I met a mutual friend and he works in the studio.
So there's good ones out there.
Yeah.
But is it like people? I find when we go places where there's mostly masculine energy, sometimes it's overwhelming. Like, the way they talk about women sometimes, I'm like, or like the way they treat. Like I've seen some shit in studios that I'm like, that made me feel like I cannot even show myself as a sexual being here because I'm just gonna pretend I'm a man and just hope you don't notice me. Some of the stuff I've seen go down in studios, I'm like, that's how you treat women? Wow. Damn.
That's funny. Well, yeah, you do see that. Well, that culture is also toxic, especially in hip hop. So, and the ones that come from the hood don't have sense or emotional intelligence to be decent. They're just like, whatever, I'm a hood guy and this is how I feel about women. This is what the music videos say. So I'm going to try to replicate that in real life. Ugh.
Damn.
You get no poons. Okay. Not that I was ever going to give it to you, but if there was ever a chance, you're an asshole. You get to no poons.
No poons. I like that. I'm going to start saying that. No poons. Yeah. No poons for you.
No poons. No poon for you. Ever. But I also, I've had a good experience dating and being in a relationship for the most part. But, out here, they really like open relationships, whether you want to be in one or not. So, there's just so many women out here. So it's inevitable unless, the two of you are locked in a relationship. But if you're not,
You mean like at the beginning of the relationship when you're still feeling them out, or just like in perpetuity, like they just want to stay a bachelor?
Whatever you guys communicate, you know.
And yeah, I guess like because I know of like open relationships. Like there's nuances, right? There's like polyamorous, and then is that the same thing as open relationship? Is it overlapping, or is it the same? Is it like a synonym? Because I get a little confused.
I think it's like a yeah, I think so. I think it's similar.
So that is like a lifestyle, right? But then there's also people who are not ready to commit.
Yeah.
Or dating around. Does that count as an open relationship?
So I would say that's open, and then the people that are in poly have like a condition. That's how
they're committed to being open. It's a little different
and
than
they
not committed.
Yeah, and everyone knows each other. You know, everyone knows who the players are. But when you're in an open relationship, you don't know.
It's open season. You just have no clue what's going on.
You have no idea.
That's hard. I don't like being in the
really difficult, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Girl, yeah, but you know, when you first start dating, that's the hard part. When you first start dating someone, there's like a period of time where it's like you're just getting to know them, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to bring up things right off the bat, or do you? I don't know.
Well, that's dating until it's exclusive, you know. But I would just see how things go. You can see other people, just be mature about it, you know, and if you're going to be in, then, you know, just be
safe.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's tricky. I'm still learning.
It's tricky. It's really difficult, but I feel like if anyone's going to navigate those waters, you know, in poly, then I think communication is key, and just being honest with each other, and everyone needs to know who's creating this dynamic for peace of mind, you know?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think a red flag is if you do bring it up and the person like is dodging the question.
I've had that happen.
Yeah, because then
what are we?
And they kind of like, that's a red flag, because it's like, well, this isn't even an issue necessarily, but if you're dodging it, that means it's an issue for you.
Exactly.
Which means you have something to hide. Or, yeah, that's what I think that means.
Yeah, or there's just so much negative connotation around discussing that, because men feel like they're not going to be able to, you know, eat their pie if they tell the whole truth.
I will be honest. I'll be honest. I've been on the other side, and then I had to really examine and then we ended it, because I had to examine myself and realize like I didn't want a relationship with that guy. There was a guy I was dating. We weren't even really dating. We were kind of just like hooking up. But I guess I'd say we were, for simplicity's sake, we were dating. And after like a month, maybe, he like asked me if we're exclusive. After we were like, I wasn't seeing anybody. I'm really just a one man woman. Like I have ADHD. I don't know. I can't.
Me too.
I can only focus on one guy at a time, and I don't want multiple men. Like it's just so much work. I like focusing on one person at a time. But when he asked me that, I thought about it, and I was like, well, technically there's no one, but I also don't want to lock it down with you. And that's when I realized, like,
I don't like you like.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
That's when I realized that, and then it's okay. But it's good that he asked me that, because he, like, even though at the time I think it was like he was shocked, because that's not what he was expecting, you know. But but like the purpose of his question probably was to try to move the relationship forward, and so it just forced me to.
We out here with options, boo.
Yeah, but so I thought about that. I was like, you know what? But it's not like I was out here like wilding out. I just didn't want him to be my man.
Yeah, you want that chemistry, and you want it to be natural. And when you know, you know.
I think when you know,
if it isn't right, it's not right.
Yeah, I think if you have to question, there's already like he probably asked because he sensed I wasn't like fully in it, even if there wasn't anyone else, you know. So I think when you know, though, you know, and then it will just come up naturally. Like all my long-term relationships, I don't think there was a point where somebody was like, what are we? Or are we exclusive? It just naturally turned into that. Yeah. And it was like natural. So I don't think you have to push it.
Yeah, that happened in my last long-term relationship. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, we're exclusive. was just like, well, this is working. We like each other, and we're going to live together, and we're going to have a dog. And we're just going to be, a cohabitating couple like we're married. And sometimes it just happens like that, and that's okay. Like what's known, sometimes what's already known doesn't need to be said.
Yeah. I think, exactly. Yeah. I think at some point in, excuse me, all my long-term relationships, there was a point where the guy introduced me as his girlfriend, and then it was like, oh, I guess I'm his. But I will say this, the second guy I dated, when he did that, I think he did it a little prematurely. And now knowing I have a choice, I'm like, maybe I would have had a talk and been like, hey, we didn't have a talk. Am I your girlfriend? But I think at the time I just thought like, oh, I guess I have to be his girlfriend now, which is fine. But I think like that guy, ultimately it didn't work out because I wasn't that. It was fine, but I think that it was, the whole relationship was very much him pursuing me. So now I guess what I'm trying to say is,
you were bored.
What?
I said you were bored. He was like, he's just making this too easy.
I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm just trying to say like it might be good to have a conversation because that's a check-in, right? Like to be like, is this what I want? And when I was younger, I didn't know I could do that. I thought like, you just have to go with it. Yeah, I just thought if a guy is dating you and it's going, you just got to keep going. And how does this end? Where is this going to go?
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster and you're like,
Yeah. When it's feeling like a roller coaster, because men have routines, right? So like once the routine with you starts deviating, things switch up, but you guys still have a good dynamic. Like that's when you have to start asking questions like, oh, what are we doing? Because, this is not your normal routine.
Yeah.
And that's when you start asking. And it doesn't even have to be like an argument or anything like that. It's just a conversation for clarity so that no one's time is being wasted.
Yeah, that's true.
Waste women's time.
I think that's the thing I'm scared about the most, which I have to let go of because I know you can't really be scared of wasting your time. But I think that's the thing I'm scared about. And that's why I kind of just avoid dating a lot because I'm just like, I don't even want to get into something if it's going to be a waste of time. But is it really a waste of time? I'm like, okay, I guess I'll learn from it.
Well, you have to see, so you have to try.
Yeah.
What was like your worst dating experience?
Okay. I don't want to say anything too specific because I don't want people to recognize themselves because we're not a bashing podcast, right? We're not trying to bash people. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to think of. I don't know. I feel like people will recognize themselves.
No one's gonna know. That's like a TikTok video.
What?
Who's gonna know? How will they know?
I don't know. Maybe they watch our podcast.
How will they know, Jen?
Well, you go first.
Scenario. I'll tell you my worst dating experience. So I was on a dating app and it was CMB. I'm no longer on that dating app, so you're not going to find me there. And I went on one date with the guy and he was cool. I wasn't really attracted to him or anything, but I do like a man that has his head on his shoulders and has, intellect and has emotional intelligence. Like, I really like that. And he was cool. So I was like, all right, you seem like a decent dude. And then we went on the second date and that was cool. We went to the movies. It was all during the Rona. This was like last year, like October, November. And then I invited him over for Thanksgiving and that went cool. And then he was like, all right, well,
Thanksgiving, that's like a big thing.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't going anywhere. And then, I was having Thanksgiving, with, my friends and stuff. So might as well come. You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And that went well. And then he was like, all right. And then the movie where Will Smith came out, King Richard, and he was like, well, come over and, we're going to watch the movie or whatever. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll go. But like, I had no intention. I had no intention of having sex or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I get there And as soon as he gets out, he gets out of his apartment, he opens up my door, and then we walk around. And as soon as like the light hit his face, and before I even get into the apartment, like I look and there's like a big red lipstick.
Whoa.
Thing over his face. Mind you, I said, what's that? I said, who kissed you? What do you mean? I said, there's red lipstick on your face. He said, oh, no, it's a birthmark. I said, it's a birthmark? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
And then I was just like, these men are two-timing. Is there that many women out there? Like, you just have to like
back to
schedule them back to back. Like, that's kind of disgusting. Jeez. And you're inviting me to your apartment for the first time.
Yeah.
So that was the end of that. That was like
I'm glad you saw that before you went in.
God is real. I asked God to show me who's for me.
Yes.
And who's not.
And you weren't even that attracted to him, right? It was like...
What? And I wasn't. And I was like, you have some nerve. You're not even that cute. And then he did not even try to, I knew he was guilty. There was no counter. It wasn't like, oh, I was with my aunt, and it was a Sunday.
Birthmark that wipes off.
It was a birthmark.
Birthmark.
I said, thank God, because like if I would have to force myself to be attracted to him, and I don't like forcing attraction. Like I want to be attracted to you. Yeah. So that was the end of that. And that was like literally my worst dating experience. I'm like, you tried me. Like, what kind of chick do you think I am? Like, you really thought you could get away with that?
Damn. I don't have any stories as crazy as that. I had like...
I don't think that's crazy. Like, I just think that's kind of funny.
It's funny.
And I was mad. I was like, dang, I want to take back my Thanksgiving invitation. Like, you don't even deserve to be around the goodness of my people. Because I have solid people in my life.
Yeah.
And you are
dating
fraud.
apps can, I haven't really been able to get into that. I've tried a couple for like a week or two. I usually can't stay on it more than a week or two. And I bet like every time I tried it, I've done like 1 or 2 dates and then I'm like over it. Because either it's really boring. Like, there's nothing wrong with the men. Yeah,
it's like I met you online. Yeah, unless it's someone
it's like there's nothing wrong with the men. They're just they're just not. It's just not. You have to filter out more, right? Because you don't know if there's a connection until you meet in person. There's been like a couple people that I met that I was like, okay, there might be chemistry, but then other things just didn't work out, or like like they had a whole relationship or something, like. But so. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do the online dating. But I don't know. I've been wrestling with that too. I'm like, the idea of, am I not adapting to the 21st century? Like, this is where everyone is now. But also like, maybe that's not who, I don't know. I want to meet someone in, my view of it is this.
It's nice to naturally meet people, like to meet people.
I love synchronicity, like that's
synchronicity. Sexy.
Yeah. Like that moment, that spark, you can't take it away. Like everybody that I've fallen for, I remember like the first moment I laid eyes on them and like that spark or like some cute story.
That sounds like a song. First moment I laid eyes on you.
It probably is a song. But there's like a spark, and like that's so fun. I don't want to take that. I mean, I guess you have that with you could have that with online dating when you first meet in person.
Yeah, you can. I've never had that.
Yeah, I've never had that either. With real life meeting too, I think it's like people who would naturally be in your circles, or like people who would, you meet them at the studio,
or natural places, or you meet someone, in your place of work.
Yeah, your place of work. Yeah, because then they're in your industry and they understand.
They're in your industry, but not like in your work, but involved in the industry.
Yeah. I like that better because they understand you,
They understand. It's like an immediate connection. Yeah. And I understand that.
The flip side of that, though, they might have dated people too, if it's too close to home,
Yeah, but like no one's ever going to tell you that.
Well, I mean, sometimes people talk about their exes. Like,
sometimes. Is it going to get back to you, though,
Yeah,
like,
I guess you guys have got to be mature about it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's weird to know someone who dated someone I'm dating. I don't know.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, it just happened.
About it, yeah.
We're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. Some people try not to date in their industry. I hear that a lot in LA. People are like, "Oh, I never date another singer," or "I never date another actor." Like they're like over it. They only want to date like someone outside. But I like someone who understands. It's so hard. I've dated someone who's not in the industry, and they just could never understand like the hours or like me wanting to work because I love work. And like they were so mad that they would be mad that I would like prioritize work over Netflix.
Right.
Like
until
yeah.
Netflix.
Oh, I can't make our scheduled Netflix and chill because I got a job.
Because you're getting money, that's why.
I'm sorry that I like to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see what else. Oh yeah, lust versus love. What's the difference? And can you tell the difference?
Well, yeah, less is you want to smash, you want to bang.
But you want to do that with love too, right? Ideally, wouldn't you want?
I mean, yes, with love, but that's without the emotional connectedness. So
at what point does the emotional connection come into play? Because can you have love at first sight, or is it always lust at first?
I think you can have love at first sight if it also includes an emotional connectedness and a commitment. Then you would consider that love at first sight. But, you still have to go through the process of getting to know them. Mm-hmm. If it works, it was love at first sight,
Yeah, it's kind of a gamble, right? It's like, if it worked out, it was love. If it didn't, that was lust.
It was lust.
I don't know till you find out. Yeah, it's hard to say in the beginning, I think. Because in the beginning, it feels good, right? I used to naively think everything was love. Like, I love him. And now I'm learning, that's not love.
Yeah. I guess, I think it's just at the end of the day, it's about time. How long are you with this person? Are they willing to build with you? I think that determines less than love, the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
it's simple. It's not complicated at all. Yeah.
Interesting. I got to learn because I think that I oftentimes, if I meet someone I really like, I'm like willing to do anything. I'm like, this is it. And then,
what are you going to do?
No, I just mean like I don't think about having to pace myself. I just think like, well, I'm in it. Like,
okay.
But if it turns out it's less, then it's kind of like, oh, I shouldn't jump in that fast.
Yeah.
But it also has worked out for me with my past relationships where I jumped in, but then it flourished. But it doesn't always work out. So I don't know if I'm just gambling at this point.
Right.
Or if I should have a better strategy.
I mean, but everything is trial and error. So
yeah. I think you got to read energy. I've gotten much better at that. Like I don't do it on purpose, but now I think I can like sense. I think it came with experience, maybe of different experiences, but I can kind of sense someone's intentions now.
Yeah, you definitely know people's intentions. You can definitely tell off the bat. How they treat you, how they speak.
Yeah.
To you, how they move, how they think. How they carry themselves, their mannerisms.
Yeah. Yeah, the way they approach you.
The way they approach you, the way they approach life.
Yeah. Like, do they ask you out or are they like...
Or they're just in the now, like I'm just in the right now, in the moment. They're not thinking about...
doing.
Yeah, definitely. I love a mature man that knows who he is, that knows what he wants, and is consistent.
Yeah, consistency is...
I love a consistent man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a gentleman. So...
What makes someone a gentleman?
Someone that doesn't always think about themselves, that while they think about themselves, they're also thinking about the person that they're dating.
Yeah.
So it's twofold. Like, you should think about yourself, but you should also include the person that you're with. Are they able to communicate effectively? And how they talk to you, especially when it comes to adversity.
Yeah, like, are they only happy when things are going good, and then things are going bad, they shut you out?
Exactly.
That's like a lot of men, I feel like, because they feel like their masculinity is challenged when they're not doing well.
Yeah.
But I feel like a sign of maturity is if they can communicate with you even through that.
Yeah.
Because it's like a partnership, like, you're there to support them.
Right.
But I've seen a lot of men, when things aren't going well or they feel a little embarrassed, they don't even want you, like, to see that part of them. So then they shut you out,
Yeah.
or take it out on you.
I think that a gentleman is just someone who's able to compromise, who's accommodating, and it also should be reciprocated. I believe people say that chivalry is dead. I don't think it's dead, but I also think women should also practice that as well. I'm actually dating a guy now who is very sweet and very accommodating. Like, he invited me out on a date, and he didn't say, okay, well, meet me here. He said, I'm going to come and pick you up.
Yeah, there's something romantic about that, I think.
That is so sweet. It's a very, like, simple, common gesture, but it's not common anymore. It's
or
like,
they open the door for you.
Yes.
Little things like that kind of feel a little romantic, I think.
And then to reciprocate that, when you get in, open the door for your man,
Yeah.
That's
true. That's good. That's a good note. I'll remember to do that, because I don't do that.
For him. That's what I mean. Like, women don't think that way.
You're right. We have to do just as much work. We shouldn't put the onus on men. I hate when women are like, men have to do all this, and we're just gonna say
and look pretty.
Yeah.
So so it's all about reciprocation. But yeah.
I think about that too, because I think the idea that we attract what we are, I think about that a lot. So I try not to blame people much anymore. Like, if something goes wrong, or if I meet someone who's not right for me, or just some weird unexpected shit happens, I really try to be like, what am I emitting? What frequency am I emitting that is attracting this to me? How, like, instead of being like, oh, this person ain't shit, I'm like, interesting that I would attract this into my life. I must be giving off this energy, like,
Yeah, everything is energetic. So I guess we just have to be mindful of what it is that we want. And, when you see what it is that you don't like, don't do it. You questioning it, don't do it, sis.
Yeah.
But I think I've been doing an okay job. I haven't, like, found my husband yet, but I've had a good experience with the men that I've been able to build a relationship with and spend some time with. And I've actually, like, some life-changing experiences. I've had a man show me that there's a different level of love. Like, I had a man show me what it means to be romantic. Like, I experienced romance for the first time in my adult life, like real romance,
Yeah. Like what? What kind of things?
Thoughtfulness, and made me, like, really know that there are amazing men out here, especially Black men, amazing Black men that will make you feel like you're the only girl in the world, even though you may not be. But you feel that way, like, you feel love, like, they make you feel bubbly, you feel childlike. Like, I never thought I could feel like that. And it was the way that he treated me set the precursor for the next person that came into my life. I was like, if I accept anything lower than this, I'm playing myself.
See, so nothing is ever wasted, right? That's what I was thinking too. Like, my last relationship, he was somebody like that, like very romantic and not even in like the typical movie way, like that too, but also the nitty gritty things. Like he would like do. Oh, my dog just growled. I think he's having a bad dream.
Okay.
No, but he would do things like just be there for, you know, like even. I don't know, like, I'm like, how much detail? I don't want to give details, but yeah, but he would just be like down, you know, to like help me out with anything. But
that's nice to have in someone.
Yeah. So now I'm like, I accept no less, because it's not even like I'm comparing people to him. It's just that I'm like, I know that is the level. That's like, I don't need to settle for something else.
You don't. You really do not need to settle. But it's scary out here because I'm single and I'm like, why am I not single? Like,
sometimes you get those nights where you're like, well, maybe I'll settle just for tonight.
I mean, you don't have to be, you know.
But you know, sometimes those, even like those relationships don't, like that relationship ultimately didn't work out for other reasons, right? So, but you learn from everyone what you like and what you don't like, you know.
I know. And then sometimes you have an amazing relationship with someone and it just does not work out. Like when you're with them, the chemistry is amazing. You have a great time together. Like everything is top tier, on point, but he don't want to settle down. Like they're afraid of commitment.
Yeah. I've had, I think same thing, like where everything is so good in a freeze frame moment in time, like the chemistry, everything, but maybe we're like going different directions. Like we're really good when it's like on a freeway, we're like driving next to each other and that's good. But like ultimately they're going to like North.
So the other direction.
Yeah. And like,
you're like,
we can't keep driving together.
It's so good. It's going so well.
Yeah. I think that's what happens most of the time for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've had, I had a man come into my life last year and like we built a really solid friendship and completely platonic, like, just a really good person to be around, always a good time, always bubbly, always jovial, always lifting each other up. And then, we decide we're going to take it a little bit further or whatever. And then next thing you know, it's like, well, I just want us to go with the flow. Like, let's go with the flow.
Like, what does that mean?
Excuse me? What?
What flow? Your flow or my flow? My flow is right here.
The nothingness? What? When people say go with the flow, then I would not do it unless you're going with the flow. Going with the flow leads to nothing.
I will be honest, I've said that before too, but I don't mean that in a...
You're a go with the flow kind of girl.
I say that a lot to guys, but I don't say that in a way... I don't get into something if I'm not intentional. Like,
yeah.
But I also don't want to jump the gun, Like if something's just starting and it's feeling good, I want to go with the flow and keep building. I don't want to just be like, skip that part. That's the best part. When you first start dating someone, you're getting to know them. But I'm not out here wild. Like go with the flow to me doesn't mean I'm out here wilding. It's a very general thing though. It's very ambiguous when someone
says extremely
that.
ambiguous.
Yeah, what does it mean? Yeah.
It leaves a lot of space for confusion. That's what it is. Yes. Go with the flow is confusion because you don't know what
they're talking about.
Keep going in the future. What's happening now? I don't like the term going with the flow.
It's good to have a vision. I think intention. Like that's how I'm trying to approach it now. Is like being intentional about who I want to be with and who I want to let into my life. Like But the tricky thing for me is how do I not stay closed off? Because it's easy for me to set boundaries, but it's harder for me to let someone in through. For me, it's almost either like I have a boundary or I don't have one. Like, how do you have healthy boundaries?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. What are things like we've talked so much about what we want in men, but like what or women? I don't want to make this this is an inclusive show. But what are things that we as women could do? Because I sometimes feel like I think the focus for me when I'm like, okay, I'm open to a relationship, I'm really trying to focus on making myself the person that I want to be in a relationship, as opposed to being like, who's out here who I can get with, right? I think it starts with ourselves, like becoming the person that would be in the relationship. You know what I mean? Like becoming the person in the ideal relationship we want. Because then I think then you attract that vibration.
Right. Meaning, like, are you operating at your full potential as a person?
Yeah.
Like
and the way
that you want and everything that you want in the mate, are you that for yourself?
Yeah, exactly. You have to be that for yourself first.
That's true.
Yeah. And be that for someone, right? Like if you're like, I want someone who is financially stable, like right now, then I'm like, well, then I need to be financially stable because I don't want to attract someone who's not, I don't want a big gap, you know? I don't want someone to come in and save me. And I also don't want someone who,
well,
it's weird. Money is tricky because it's like,
my thing is everyone should strive for financial independence. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're dating, like you should like, you know, have some sort of
your bases covered before you start taking care of someone else.
Covered, you know, when you're dating, have some type of foundation for yourself, have some type of goal that you're actively reaching. Mm-hmm. So I think that as long as you're actively moving towards the goal, like you're actually applying yourself, even if you're not at the pinnacle of your career, I think that's okay. And if your partner happens to be there and they're making, you know, more than you or less than you, but if you're actively working towards that, then I think that it's also okay. At the end of the day, are you independent? Yeah. And do you know where you're going and are you actively headed there?
Yeah, I think you can meet someone on the way up, but you have to be moving in the same direction.
In the same direction.
100%.
Yeah. I agree with that. But but at the end of the day, I just think it's about chemistry. Do you actually like this person? Can you be with this person long term? You know, and are each of you, you know, financially stable, you know, and because here's the thing, like everyone's going to go through something in a relationship. Yeah. You know, life is not peaches and cream. Like people are going to go through hardship. Some people are going to go through calamity, whether they're single or in a partnership. You're going to experience those things. Yeah. You can have a lot of money and the next thing you know, you're not going to have nothing. So it's really like an emotional, not an emotional, but it's really like, it is an emotional thing. It's like, are you equipped emotionally? Is your character equipped to be in this relationship? And are you guys going to, you know, overcome this or not? Like, I just think things are going to happen. So are you a good team?
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. They say that most divorces come from financial stresses. And like, it's like, you have to be able to work through that as a team, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be on the same page, I think.
Things are gonna happen. Life happens.
Yeah.
What is the thing, the vows through what? Riches and
thick and thin. Is it thick and thin? Is that what they say?
No. See,
I don't know.
You've never been married.
For sickness. It's funny, I've been to so many weddings because I DJ, but a lot of the weddings now, they don't all do the Christian vows.
Can be rich and poor, you know?
Yeah. For better or for worse.
For better or for worse. I don't think it was, but you get what we're saying.
Yeah. So, ride or die.
Yeah. You know that term ride or die? I'm not sure about that term ride or die. Like, I'm a rider. I'm going to ride with you until the wheels fall up, but I'm dying for your ass, okay?
You can die on your own.
You're not about to drive me off of the goddamn cliff, okay? I'm going to open that freaking door. Out of here.
She said.
I think that term is toxic because I used to have that mentality too, like, I'm a ride or die. But honey, if you see your man is leading you straight off the cliff.
Yeah, you got to watch out for yourself. That's the thing. Like, I volunteer teaching in prisons and they talk about that. They say a lot of the women who are in prisons oftentimes are there because of a man they loved. Like, sometimes it's not even a crime they committed, or sometimes they were just like implicated with it, or it's like a big thing that, and women tend to do it more than men.
Because women are loyal.
Yeah.
Loyal to a fault. And I'm trying not to be that anymore. When you're loyal to a fault like that without the commitment or without a ring, that's dangerous.
I think we could be loyal, but we gotta be smart.
I'm very loyal.
We gotta pick who we allow into that circle, right? Like once
that goes back to character. Like you knew who this person was. Did they have good character before you decided to get into a relationship with them?
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
But the fact that you said that, I read in the media the other day, there was some woman falsified, her boyfriend was in jail, and she sent a fax with a falsified document stating that her boyfriend, the inmate, needs to be released. Like it was an actual, like she falsified an entire document and faxed it. And she thought she was gonna get her man out of jail. She's stuck right beside him now.
Wow. That's so crazy.
I was like, that's wild, but that's how loyal women are. If they really love you,
yeah,
they would do anything. Like if they really love you, but I don't think that was the smartest thing to do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's.
But I respect her. I respect her effort.
A for effort, F for the government, I guess.
That's the definition of a ride or die.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like the romanticization of the term, but yeah, I think it's toxic to think from that, because you have, well, first of all, I think if you're in a healthy relationship, a man won't make you do that.
Exactly. A man is not going to put you in a position that's going to impact your freedom, you know.
Because then they're just using you as a pawn.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think that's healthy. Because I would not do that to my man.
Yeah, like if I'm in jail, if I got myself in jail, I'm in jail. Why would I ask you to commit fraud? Like,
I would never.
I'll put money on your books. Like I'll wait for you.
Yeah.
If we're married.
Yeah.
But I am out to be in the cell next to you. I'd rather have conjugal visits. Like, no, but that is not what I want in my life. But, you know, power is words. I do not want that. I do not want jail. I do not want my man in jail. I don't want to be putting money on books. But that happens a lot in the Black community, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother episode.
So unfortunately, we had a bit of connectivity issues while filming this episode. So we had to cut it short. And we will continue this topic in a future episode. Thank you for bearing with us. And thanks again for joining us on the Queendustry. See you guys next time.